This week on Life at Terminal Velocity with Carlos Felix. Brought to you by FEMA, force equals mass times acceleration. And we'd like you all to remember that we're all going through life at terminal velocity.
All right, gang, how do you like that for an intro? It is April 2022 and the skydiving season is upon us. So I figured I would catch up with you guys and show you what I'm using for gear this year. A lot of the same stuff that I've been using with a couple of new additions. Let's go over it. Bioenno 12 amp hour battery. Got this from Amazon last year, I think it was. And it's been serving me nicely for Parachute Mobile and for Parks on the Air, so I'm going to take it again this year. Also to note that none of this stuff is sponsored in any way. I've either bought all this stuff or been gifted it with no expectation of anything else from the person that gifted it to me. So just know that this is all on the up and up. I'm using this stuff because I like this stuff. Next, from the battery to the radio is marked as an Icom IC-706MkIIG. Freshly back from Frank in Michigan, who repaired it for me. I was having some issues with it. The internal speaker wasn't working. The antenna tuner wasn't working. I wasn't getting the power I was expecting. It turned out that the prior owner or somebody in its ownership line, I can't say it was the prior owner because I don't know, did a hack job of repairing it at some point in time, and it made the problem worse eventually. So right now I don't have 70 centimeters on that radio, but I don't care. I don't use 70 centimeters on this radio. This radio is for me to do Parks on the Air and for me to do Parachute Mobile. So I am not worried about 70 centimeters on this. Okay, to feed the radio, 10 feet of RG316. I got that from George over at Pactena. There's also a 20-foot line that I have here, and that is because once George gets the chokes back in the inventory, I'm going to order a choke from George at Pactena to feed the antenna with a 20-foot inline choke, and then from the choke to the radio will be the 10-foot segment of Feedline to keep as much of the RF out of reaching the radio as possible, right? Until I get that choke, I'm going to run it with a 10-foot line. It'll be okay. I've been doing this already, but I want to add that choke in line. Next, we're going to record the QSOs with this Sony recorder I got from Adam, K6ARK. He was very kind. He replaced his and this one with something else, and something newer, I should say, similar make and model, but newer. And he gifted me that. Thank you so much, Adam. I was having issues with my other recorder, and that was a lot of the problem that I was having making the videos for you guys to see. So he was able to give me that, and I ordered the line the cable to feed from the radio to this on Amazon yesterday. It should be here tomorrow. I'm going to test it tomorrow and verify that everything works. I don't expect it won't, but just in case. My primary antenna this year I expect it to be this right here. This is a Pactena NFET half-wave mini, 20 meters. I do have a wire added for it that's not in the shot for 40 meters if I want to go 40. But for now, I expect that the majority of my jumps are going to be in the 20 meter range or less. The less wire I put out, the less I have to worry about an entanglement with my parachute. So that is my go-to antenna. And this antenna is fantastic, so why not? All right, in addition to that, my Yaesu FT3D. This is going to be for APRS. Its sole job is going to be APRS. I'm going to have it in my pocket. I'm going to have it tethered using the 550 and a carabiner in my pocket running APRS. You may hear it in a jump. I'm going to try to remember to turn it down after I test it in the air, but it's going to be there so you guys can track of where I am in the sky. Backup antennas. We're going to get to them in a minute, but I need them because last year I lost one of those over a cornfield. I was reeling it back in, and I hadn't twisted the B and C connector 100%, and it was like 99%, but it didn't quite latch. And when I was reeling the antenna back in, it was enough motion for the BNC to move out of the way, and it flew away into a cornfield. I couldn't recover it. It was like 10 foot tall corn. No chance of me getting it back. So my backup antennas this year are going to be this KM4ACK NFET halfway 40 meters. Great antenna. It just doesn't pack as well as that, and that packs into here really easily. We'll get to that in a minute. And then this sucker I got from Adam, K6ARK. This is one of the coolest bits of antenna engineering I've seen in forever. He fit one of his connector antennas into an SO239 for me instead of the BNC that is normal for him. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that very well, but he wound it and packed it with silicone and has a detachable lead so that I can change this cable. I'm going to be making a cable for 10 and for 15. This is 20. And I may be using this for the first jump of the year. We'll get to that in a second. Lastly, gear-wise, this is a Maxpedition Versa Pack Jumbo, I think it is. I'll put links to all of this down in the description below. But I also got that from Amazon last year. It's worked great for me. I carry the battery over here, the radio in the main pocket, the antenna in the top pocket here. And then I had been using this side pocket for the recorder and for my HT. And this year, since that recorder is so much smaller than the old recorder, it's going to let me fit DHT in here so much easier. So that is the extent of the radio gear. This goes around my waist with all that gear on it. I'm going to get a weight on this later and splice it in here. All right, so on to the stuff that saves my life. If you don't care about the parachute gear, if you don't care about the skydiving gear, you can skip down using the chapters down to the bottom. But if you do, here we are. This is a Vector 3 350 made by United Parachute Technologies, or I should say Uninsured Parachute Technologies, I think is what it's called officially. There is a Performance Designs Sabre 2 150 at the bottom. Parachute system has two parachutes in it, okay? A main and a reserve. My main is a Sabre 2 170. My reserve is a Performance Designs Optimum 146, I think it is. And I have an automatic activation device made by Cypress. I should say, yeah, Cypress. Anyhow, that sucker is, in case something happens to me and I don't have a parachute over my head, it will automatically deploy my reserve for me at a specific altitude. But hopefully I never need it in my life. On to the rest of the gear. Helmet. This is not the helmet I normally use for free fall. This is the helmet I have for doing parachute mobile. It's a skateboard helmet, has a lot of padding on the inside, and it lets me attach a camera to the front. This is the camera that I have for it right now. This is a DJI Osmo Action. It may get replaced later on with a GoPro 10, but I don't know yet. Just depends on money. That antenna is a 2-meter Slim Jim J-pole from Nelson Antennas on eBay. That puppy will be used anytime I do 2 meters on Parachute Mobile. I have an N9 tax lab antenna somewhere. I just can't find it. So it's going to be that one or the N9 tax lab, or maybe I'll alternate between the two. On my hand, I'll have a GoPro 9 and then an altimeter. Tells me how high off the ground I am. Another altimeter on the other hand, because, well, I'm that guy that'd rather have two altimeters than one. And then this altimeter is going to end up inside of that helmet as an audible altimeter that I'll have an alarm set on it to tell me when I've reached 4,000 feet so that I quit playing radio. That is the skydiving gear. There ain't much else to it. So, first jump I'm hoping to make April 15, 16, or 17. It is Easter weekend, and it is also Support Your Parks weekend. So I expect the bands to be jam-packed, but we will see. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the sky. Parachute Mobile, hopefully very, very soon. 7-3.